Hello guys, I'm Kovi Shiver, Senior Tech Associate at IEEE UFT Student Branch, and welcome to Lesson 6. Today we will explore how to dynamically update HTML content and work with JavaScript events and handle input to create interactive web applications. In the last lesson, we talked about how to update CSS and a little bit about inner HTML, which we will learn a bit more detail about today. So let's dive right into it. So part of this lesson, we will focus on inner HTML property. It plays a crucial role in manipulating HTML element content using JavaScript. The HTML property allows us to access and modify content of HTML as strings. It provides a convenient way to interact with the content inside HTML tags. So now I'll write an example to show you how you can use HTML tag, my bad, inner HTML to manipulate the content inside events. So let's see. Okay, so we have this. Let me just write, delete these things, and I'll just have my first class, and we will remove this too. And so currently our page looks like this. Hello guys, welcome to JS tutorial. Let's try to change it. We will change it to, let's say, lesson 6 about inner HTML. So as you can see, I am using get element by ID method. My ID is cool ID, not new element, so I'll just change it here. So cool ID, and then I will do element dot inner HTML equals welcome to lesson 6 of our web dev workshop. So let's see if it worked. And as you can see, it updates. Let's say you want to concatenate this with the existing stuff you had in your element. So what we can do, we can either do like element.inner HTML equals element.inner HTML plus this, and when you do that you will get something like this. Or you can use a shorthand operator, which is basically just removing this and changing it to plus equals this, and both are equivalent. Now HTML to add HTML tags to our string which we are passing here. So let's do a strong tag here to make the thing bold. I don't know if it will be visible, but I will try my best. So something like this. So as you can see now, it's not too visible, but if I go and inspect element, you can see that it definitely has a strong tag wrapped around this, and the CSS for this is bold. It's just we cannot see it here. So yeah, that's that. JavaScript events, which play a vital role in web development. You may ask, what is an event? Well, events are actions or occurrences that happen within a web page, such as user clicking a button or pressing a key. So let's say I clicked here on workshop. So I want something to happen. So that's an event. Or if I even hover my mouse over here, it can also be counted as an event. The event name is on hover for this. So why do we need events? So let's say you have something called as a login button, and as soon as the user clicks on it, you want a pop-up to display. So now you need to monitor if the user is clicking that button. So this is why events are useful. So I will talk about events. Let's talk about the most basic event, which is called as on click. So let me write a button, code for a button. So this is just a simple button without anything. Button me. So as you can see, our button will show up here. Now I'm clicking, nothing is happening here. Even if now let me add the event that is on click. So now you can see still nothing's happening because I have just written like on click, but sorry about that. So I've just written on click, but what do I want it to do after on click? Let's say on click I want it to run a function which is called as handle click, and I will write this function in my script tags here. So let's say after the thing is clicked, I want this to happen. After I click the button, I want this part of the thing to display. So I will write function, what's the name of the handle click, and then all this stuff in here. So now, so as you can see right now, it just says hello guys, welcome to GS tutorial. Now as soon as I click over this button, it says welcome to lesson 6 of our web dev workshop. I hope you understood how on-click event works. So similarly, I can do something like this. Let's say I want to change a CSS property upon hovering on this element. So we can do something. So our class is my first class. So I will do something like this. My first class, and then a colon, and then hover. So this says that when my first class, the cursor is hovering over my first class, then apply these CSS properties. So let's say I want to make the color to go white. That's it. So let me save it and let's see. As you can see, as soon as I hover over this element, now the CSS property is changing to white. And if I click on this again, we will see this happening again. Like after I click, it concatenate this at the end. So if I keep on clicking, it will keep on concatenating. As you can see, it will go on forever. So every time I'm clicking, it's concatenating, because right now the inner HTML is all this thing, and now as soon as I click it, it will concatenate this at the end of the whole thing. So it will just keep going on. So since we have, I think you might have a good grasp of event handlers now. Sorry to not go a little bit more detail about them. It's just a quick intro about these things. So now we'll next dive right into text box inputs. We will focus on implementing text input boxes. They play a crucial role in web forms and user inputs. They allow us to enter and submit data on web pages. So now, while I am teaching you about the input boxes, I will try to make a simple to-do list, which you can work on later and make it better. It's one of your tasks which is coming on. So I'll just do a to-do list and save it. So now what we will do, let's make an input box for us above the button. So it's input, then we can write type can be text, email, number, etc, etc, but right now we want the type to be text. And you can have an ID for this input. Let's say my ID is let's say task input is my ID, and then you can do a placeholder tag, placeholder attribute tells you like what will be displayed when you haven't written anything in the text box. So let's say enter your task, and that's it. And if I save it, we will see input here. So now what do we want to do for this? So let's create a div where we are going to list these to do tasks which we enter here. So let's do that. So div class, let's use the highlight class to do this one. Class highlight. I know it's not gonna look very professional, but it's just for learning right now, so it's okay. So now, and also we need to give it an ID. ID will be task list. Task list. So now we so every time I click me, which we can rename it to add task. So every time I click on this, I want it to add a task one below. So let's see how we can do it. So first we will get the ID, get the element in which we want to add. So we want to add the task in the task list. So let's do this first, task list. And now we want to just increment. What do we want to increment? We want to increment this input, whatever I write in my input. So what we can do is we can write something like constant input equals document dot get element by ID and then task input. To access whatever is in this here, whatever I'm typing, we need to access the dot value of input. So we can do inner HTML plus equals, in quotation mark we will do P. So we add a tag, and then we can do input dot value and then close the tags. Something like this, and let's see if it works. Complete lesson 6. As you can see, it's added here, but as you see, like once I click add task, I want this to get erased. To do that, I can just add something like this, input dot value, and I can set it to single quotation mark. So what this will do, this will reset the value to nothing basically. So let me delete and add a different task here. So let me start with this one. So complete lesson 6, added the task. Now you can see it's erased. Now the next task I want to add is, let's say, do your assignments, and there you go, we got the 2 tasks now. And similarly we can keep on going, and let's say do laundry, or let's do eat dinner. We are keep on adding the tasks. So I hope you understood how you can access inputs in in the script tag if you're using text boxes. So congratulations, you have completed lesson 6, and you have learned how to dynamically update HTML content using inner HTML, and how to implement events, text input boxes for user input. You learned how you can use JavaScript with HTML elements, Have a good day. See you around in the next video.